Hi everyone, this is Prabir here. The other day I was reading about appointments by the government to some very senior positions, and it triggered a thought that I wanted to share with all of us, to reflect, to ponder, hopefully also to act. Very particular expression that the civil services and the armed forces have is of handing over charge or assuming charge. Now, there may be a bit of a ceremony around some of these things for certain assignments and roles, but this issue of change is not one of power. It is nor authority. It is of responsibility. So when you say you are assuming charge, you're assuming responsibility. And sometimes there may be some planned understudy thing, even at senior levels, before you formally get into that position and role. But more often, these decisions are immediate. So you get transferred immediately, you hand over charge immediately to your successor, and you assume charge of your new role immediately. Invariably, these so-called handing over or assuming charge phenomenon also comes along with a movement order. So there's a transfer order and there's a movement order. In which sequence will people assume charge or hand over charge so that the entire cycle of transfers and rotations is all completed? And from my own experience in the government, of someone who's been watching the government, from outside and has been in the corporate sector and is now advising companies, I realized the show went on so seamlessly. And no one ever said that work will collapse in my area if this particular officer is transferred or rotated, or that I need 3 months to transition out. How is it that such institutions have survived, thrived, and gone on without this entire specter of the world will collapse? And having seen both sides, of the civil service and the corporate, I cannot but remark how an exit decision creates panic in many corporate contexts. Is there something that firms need to learn beyond themselves? Is there a mental block that this is the only way we can think, this is the only way we can do, and we cannot learn from another context? Why does nothing collapse when an officer in the government gets rotated? But succession in many cases in the corporate world creates panic. It sounds almost disruptive. Many a time someone is holding the fort for a long time before a successor is eventually hired. Hoarding of talent is very commonplace in many companies at all levels. No one wants to let go of that guy to move on to another assignment. There are some companies which do a great job, but many don't. And why is there such an emotional struggle when executives really move? Why does it take that much time that it takes to ensure healthy transitions? Despite a lot of talk on succession planning, I get invited by so many firms to help them think through succession planning. So it's not the principle or the philosophy, it's the practice. And then you get ensnared by this entire issue of post-retirement sinecures as, advisors and consultants to the powers that be of an organization, rather than fading away and letting someone else do a job and look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, rather than what has happened all these years. To me, it all boils down, therefore, to the fact that leadership building is not a seamless, committed exercise in most companies and most places. It is talked of a lot, but not much actually gets done. Leadership doesn't really want to let go. And this is a very deliberative, provocative statement. We talk the talk, we don't walk the talk. And the hope is to create ghosts of how the world will collapse if I'm not there tomorrow. And you create some kind of a hysteria. And ironically, therefore, they get rewarded with tenures and assignments beyond the time that their tenure would have lasted. And it builds so much of hypocrisy. And hypocrisy that actually generates lunch table conversations saying that talent management succession planning is not something that this company is serious about. And I see it in so many places. And this paranoia, this hysteria, oh, with this guy gone, he's been here 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, the world will collapse, has never been something I've understood. So when I read this little piece about senior level transitions in the government and in the armed forces recently, I just wondered, can this help some corporates start thinking about getting their act right? Beyond giving excuses and alibis or deny themselves the opportunity to learn from beyond their patch. I sincerely hope the wise ones learn and learn from anyone and anywhere. And we are able to build a talent pipeline, a succession that is truly future ready at all times. But it will need honesty of effort and honesty of resolve. Would love to hear your experiences and thoughts. That is this something that you also see? Is this something that you also feel companies should think about? And where do you think the ball is getting dropped? So this is more to trigger a thought and a discussion thread. We look forward to hearing from you. Take care and have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.